Did you know that in the 1940s, amidst the flames of World War II, simply having a roof over your head was incredibly fortunate? With metal requisitioned for the military and everything scarce, families were forced to be ingenious to survive. From Murphy beds that folded into the wall and ice freezers to gravity heating systems, each detail reflected a frugal yet clever way of life. And here are 20 incredible 1940s home features that are largely forgotten today. Telephone Nook. In 1940s homes, you would often come across a delicately designed small alcove right in the hallway or near the living room. This was the designated spot for the sleek black plastic landline phone, an extremely valuable asset at the time. These small corners usually included a cabinet for the thick, heavy phone directory, a small surface for taking notes, and sometimes even a built-in wooden chair, so the user could comfortably chat for longer. Back then, phones weren't something you carried around, so every call was considered a major event of the day, requiring focus and a private space for heartfelt connection. This is exactly where your grandmother would stand for hours on end to receive long-distance wartime calls from relatives far away. Unfortunately, the arrival of cordless phones and later the mobile revolution turned these fixed-wall nooks into redundant relics in modern homes. Today, these alcoves are often sealed off by homeowners or used as a spot for decorative vases. But for those who lived through that era, they remain a testament to a time when words were transmitted much more slowly and cherished much more deeply. The Murphy bed. The Murphy bed is one of the most brilliant examples of the cleverness and space optimization that your grandparents were once extremely proud of in the 1940s. It was named after the inventor, William Lawrence Murphy, who reportedly invented it to impress a girlfriend. This design allowed a full-sized bed to fold completely into the wall or hide behind exquisite wooden cabinet doors whenever it wasn't in use. At that time, this wasn't just a space-saving solution, but also a symbol of sophistication and social status. Only truly well-to-do families could afford the skilled woodworking and complex mechanical spring system required. However, later on, during the peak of World War II from 1940 to 1945, the production of complex steel frames for this type of bed was severely restricted due to the priority of metal for the military, making them a rare legacy of the pre-war period. By the late 1940s, as open floor plan designs began to become popular in the suburbs, the demand for these extreme hidden beds gradually decreased, giving way to specialized bedrooms. Today, although we can still find Murphy beds at big box stores like Costco or Home Depot, only the wealthy can truly afford them. Transom windows. Did you know that transom windows, those small windows located right above the main door frame, once served as natural lungs to help circulate air for the entire house? In an era where air conditioning systems were still a luxury dream of the future, these windows could be opened and closed flexibly with a mechanical crank. Their purpose was to welcome cool breezes from the outside and push hot air out of the hallways. During the war years, electricity was often rationed. Therefore, transom windows did more than just provide ventilation. They were also precious light sources that helped brighten the darkest areas of the house without needing electric light. Furthermore, the presence of these windows created an elegant and grand architectural touch, showing the architect's understanding of natural principles at the time. Today, we rarely see such windows anymore because the widespread popularity of central heating and cooling systems after the war eliminated their essential function, causing them to gradually disappear from modern home designs. Except in well-preserved classic villas, they stand there as silent witnesses to the natural lifestyle of the previous generation. The Icebox. Before cheap electric refrigerators flooded the market after 1945, iceboxes were an indispensable item in every kitchen for our grandparents to preserve food. These were wooden cabinets lined with tin or zinc, operating thanks to large blocks of ice, delivered right to the door by icemen. You probably still remember the clinking sound of the ice truck every morning and the cool sensation of placing a block of ice into the top compartment of the cabinet. In the context of World War II from 1940 to 1945, When factories focused on weapons production and electricity was limited in many rural areas, the Icebox was a testament to the self-sufficiency and wonderful adaptability of every family. Calculating the amount of ice needed and arranging food scientifically was once considered a true domestic craft for grandmothers and mothers. The existence of the Icebox was linked to an ecosystem of services, from ice cutters at frozen lakes to dedicated delivery men on the street. But by the time cheap electric cooling technology took over after 1945, these ice boxes gradually disappeared, becoming memories found only in classic cartoons like the Flintstones. Although today's smart refrigerators can make ice automatically, the name Icebox still lives on in the memories of grandparents. If your childhood home had even one of these features, hit the hype button so we can keep sharing these fading memories together. Gravity heating system. During the war, fuel was rationed and the power grid was frequently cut off due to snowstorms or air raids. Our grandparents used a system called a gravity-fed radiator loop to get through the harshest winters of the 1940s. This system operated entirely on a basic physical principle. Hot water naturally becomes lighter and rises, while heavier cold water sinks, creating a natural cycle. The boiler was usually placed at the lowest point, sometimes in a deep pit dug under the floor, to create the upward push for the hot water to continuously circulate through iron radiators. The water pipes had to be installed with a continuous slope, with no dips allowed to avoid air pockets that could block the flow. Families at that time would create hot zones by only focusing heat on the 2 or 3 most important rooms to save precious fuel. This system was once the savior that prevented pipes from freezing and kept families warm without the need for any pumps or electricity. You can compare this system to a miraculous circulatory system of the house, where temperature acts as a heartbeat, pushing the flow of hot water throughout the body of the home silently and persistently. Later, the birth of powerful electric pumps helped heating systems work faster, but made us completely dependent on the national power grid. Today, gravity heating is only a valuable piece of historical knowledge, but it remains a perfect backup solution for those who love a self-sufficient and sustainable lifestyle. Picture rails. A small but meaningful decorative detail often seen near the ceiling of 1940s homes is the picture rail system. In the context of World War II, when materials were scarce, keeping the home structure intact was extremely important, and the picture rail was a powerful tool to achieve that. Instead of nailing directly into the wall surface and leaving unsightly holes, our grandparents used small wooden strips running along the ceiling, allowing paintings or family photos to be hung using a system of hooks and thin chains. This feature not only brought convenience in changing decorative positions, but also created a luxurious visual effect, making the room look much taller and airier. It reflected a mindset of preservation and cherishing every detail of the living space. Later, modern building materials became sturdier and more load-bearing, and along with the advent of convenient adhesive hooks, this wooden rail system was gradually considered cumbersome and outdated. Even so, in recent years, the retro trend is causing many interior design enthusiasts to seek ways to restore this feature to protect their walls and find a bit of the romantic flavor of the past. Milk doors. Few people know that one of the most iconic home features for social trust in the 1940s was the through-the-wall milk delivery door system. These were small, two-way doors installed through the kitchen wall or next to the entrance, allowing the milkman to place fresh glass bottles of milk directly inside the house without having to wake the homeowner or disturb anyone. Every early morning, your grandmother only needed to open the small door from inside the kitchen to have fresh bottles of milk for the whole family's breakfast. This feature not only saved time, but also protected the milk from sunlight or the curiosity of stray pets. Throughout the war period, many items were rationed, so the presence of fresh milk bottles every morning was a small consolation for many American families. However, as modern refrigerators became capable of preserving food longer and shopping habits changed, the need for daily home milk delivery gradually faded, making these tiny doors useless. Today, Traces of them are usually just clumsily patched over wall sections, but the idea of a secure through-the-wall delivery box is trending back in today's booming online shopping era. Built-in flour and sugar bins. In the kitchens of 1940s, housewives, built-in flour and sugar bins were an indispensable support tool. These wooden or metal containers were integrated directly into the kitchen cabinet system with clever sliding lids, allowing the housewife to measure ingredients as quickly as possible without having to take heavy sacks off the shelves. This in-wall design helped protect ingredients from pests and moisture and kept the kitchen counter tidy and clean. It reflected a thrifty and orderly lifestyle where every square meter in the kitchen was calculated to serve domestic work to the maximum, particularly in the post-war years. When housewives began to stockpile more food, these in-wall compartments maximized their utility. However, when prepackaged foods became popular and kitchen design styles shifted toward minimalism, with standalone appliances, flour bins were gradually eliminated because they took up too much space. Though they have disappeared, their within-reach convenience remains a dream for many baking enthusiasts in modern kitchens today. Fireplace kitchens. Have you ever heard your grandparents talk about the heart of old 1940s homes? It was often the kitchen area with a large fireplace right in the middle of the room. These fireplaces were usually built of rustic brick or stone, creating a cozy and sturdy beauty for the house. During wartime shortages, this fireplace was used not only for cooking, but also as the sole source of heat for the whole family during freezing winters. This was the place where all members gathered by the crackling fire, sharing stories of joy and sorrow and forgetting the stresses of life outside. Combining both cooking and heating functions in a single space proved the wonderful creativity and adaptability of people under limited energy conditions. Later, the birth of modern gas and electric stoves along with central heating completely changed the appearance of the kitchen. The rustic brick fireplaces were gradually replaced by shiny, clean, and more efficient appliances. Currently, we only see glimpses of fireplace kitchens in country-style villas as a decorative detail to create a rustic and luxurious look. If you have ever watched a video on the channel before, leave a comment, "I'm back," so we know you've returned. Pastel bathrooms. The pastel bathroom trend was a booming trend in interior design in the late 1940s. After long years of dark and deprived war, the appearance of these bright and dreamy colors reflected an optimistic spirit and a desire for a beautiful new life. Your grandparents might have been very proud to own a bathroom tiled with pink ceramic from floor to ceiling, accompanied by matching colored sanitary fixtures. It brought a sense of peace and relaxation and was a place for people to enjoy privacy after a hard day's work. Choosing pastel colors was not just about pursuing beauty, but also a way to express the homeowner's unique personality and aesthetic taste in a gradually reviving society. Conversely, as the following decades arrived, people's preferences shifted toward minimalism with neutral tones like white and gray, making these colorful bathrooms considered outdated and overly gaudy. It's a pity that many such bathrooms were demolished during home renovations. However, today, a portion of young people are striving to find and restore the unique beauty of these classic pastel tiles. Mangle Ironers. Mangle Ironers were once a true revolution that freed the hands of busy housewives in the 40s. Instead of having to stand for hours with a heavy hand iron, your grandmother only needed to sit comfortably and feed bedsheets and tablecloths through two large electrically heated rollers to smooth them out in the blink of an eye. This device not only saved significant time, but also ensured every fabric item in the house was pressed according to the standards of organized families. The appearance of these machines was usually quite massive with a sturdy iron frame, a testament to an era when household appliances were built to last through generations. It showed a serious investment in domestic work, where meticulousness in every crease was also a way to show care for the family. However, the birth of modern wrinkle-resistant fabrics and compact, easy-to-use handheld steam irons made these bulky machines gradually redundant. Now, perhaps only professional laundromats use equipment based on similar principles. As for your grandparents' old Mangle Ironers, They are now only dust-covered mementos in old basements. Laundry chutes. In cleverly designed multi-story homes of the 1940s, the laundry chute system was a very familiar convenience. A small door was discreetly placed on the wall of the bathroom or the upstairs hallway, allowing the homeowner to drop dirty clothes directly down to the laundry room in the basement thanks to gravity. This was an extremely creative solution that reduced the need to carry heavy laundry baskets along steep staircases. Our grandparents were once very satisfied with this convenience because the task of washing, which was already very hard, was now condensed into a simple drop. Housewives no longer had to struggle carrying heavy baskets down narrow and steep stairs while also keeping bedrooms tidy and organized. These chutes were usually made of smooth metal to ensure clothes didn't get stuck and were arranged discreetly within the structure of the house. However, over time, concerns about fire safety, because the chute could accidentally become a chimney for fire between floors, along with the shift toward designs with fewer floors, caused this feature to be gradually phased out. Nevertheless, for those living in multi-story townhouses today, a gravity laundry chute is still a dream to reduce the burden of nameless household chores. Clotheslines. Before electric dryers became essential items, every 1940 home had a special space called a drying yard or clothesline area. This was usually a covered porch area with specialized clotheslines where clothes were dried completely by natural sun and wind. This habit not only helped save electricity, but also gave clothes a characteristic scent of the sun, a nostalgic experience that modern dryers find difficult to replace. The drying yard reflected a lifestyle linked to nature and a spirit of thrift, utilizing what was available from the previous generation. This lasted until the later birth of clothes dryers, which made drying fabrics quick and convenient. But clothes and bed sheets from a dryer don't smell as good as when hung outside. At the same time, it also lost those breezy porch corners. Interestingly, in today's green living trend, many people are starting to return to natural clothes, drying as a way to protect the environment and find back that sense of tranquility from the old days. Drying clothes outdoors was once a familiar morning ritual for housewives, creating a simple and warm scene of daily life. Radiator Driers. Radiator dryers are a typical example of the spirit of thrift and the ability to utilize all available resources of people in the challenging 1940s. These compact racks were often attached directly onto the top of fireplaces or iron radiators, helping to fully utilize the radiating heat to dry socks, towels, or baby clothes throughout the long winter. For your grandmother, this was an incredibly smart solution that saved indoor drying space and ensured the family always had enough dry clothes to use without costing any additional energy. This cleverness helped housewives manage housework smoothly, even in the most deprived conditions of the war period. The advent of modern clothes dryers and electric towel rails caused these manual devices to gradually fall into oblivion. However, for antique lovers, the radiator dryer is still a functional decorative item, bringing a nostalgic and cozy beauty to the living space. Looking at the old drying rack, we see the meticulous care of the grandmother for every small item in the family. It is a small detail that contains the warmth of love and intelligence in organizing daily life. Butler Buttons. These tiny electric buttons in the 1940s were called Butler Buttons. They were often discreetly installed right under the dining table or on the wall next to the bed, allowing the homeowner to summon servants from their private area quickly without having to raise their voice. This system operated through a number indicator board placed in the kitchen, helping the servant know exactly which room needed assistance. With just a light press, a signal would be transmitted to the control panel in the kitchen or the servant's room, notifying them that the homeowner needed support. For families of that era, owning such a button system was a powerful statement of social status and family wealth. It recalled an era when dedicated service was an indispensable part of upper-class life, where every request was met instantly. However, after World War II, profound changes in social structure and the gradual disappearance of live-in servants made these buttons useless. Replacing them today are smart intercom devices or remote home control apps where every family member usually serves one another in a more equal living space. Dumbwaiters. To support the movement of items and food between floors and multi-story houses, the dumbwaiter system was born. This was a small elevator system operated entirely by ropes and pulleys, helping to serve meals from the basement kitchen to the upstairs dining room easily and quickly. Your family would have been very grateful for this little machine, as it helped save thousands of steps every day for housewives or servants. These small elevators were often hidden behind a lovely wooden door, creating a delightful surprise for anyone seeing them operate for the first time. Dumbwaiters were used not only for food, but also for transferring clean clothes or small items between floors, bringing superior convenience. The development of electric motors and the trend of home design, focusing on simplification, made this manual system gradually outdated. Today, we only see them operating in some high-end restaurants or hotels to maintain the speed of customer service. Knob and tube wiring. When looking at the electrical systems of homes built from the early 20th century to the 1940s, you will see the strange knob and tube wiring method. Instead of being encased in plastic conduits run under the wall like today, the copper wires of that time were threaded through porcelain tubes and held in place by porcelain knobs attached directly to the wooden beams of the house. This system relied entirely on the air distance between the wires for insulation, requiring extremely careful installation and high skill from the electricians of the time. For your grandparents, having electricity in the house was a magical change, helping evenings become more shimmering and modern than ever. However, due to the lack of grounding wires and a durable protective shell, this system was very susceptible to damage over time or became dangerous when electricity demand increased, leading to overload. For this reason, as electrical safety standards became stricter and modern types of wires were born, the porcelain knob and tube system was gradually replaced completely to avoid fire risks. Today, white porcelain knobs are still occasionally found on old ceilings as a trace of the dawn of the electrical era, a testament to the effort to bring technology to heat and light the homes of previous generations. Coal chutes. Did you know that traces of a fossil fuel era still exist through the coal chutes at the base of the walls of many old houses? A small iron door leads to a slanted tunnel, allowing coal trucks to dump fuel directly into the basement storage neatly. In the 1940s, coal was the main and only energy source for heating and cooking for the majority of American families. You can imagine the scene of your grandparents having to regularly shovel coal into the boiler to keep the house warm in the middle of a cold winter. This work was hard and often covered in black dust, but it was an indispensable part of daily life. The presence of the coal chute and coal storage showed humans' complete dependence on raw natural resources before gas and electricity became common. When society shifted to using cleaner and more convenient energy sources, coal storage rooms gradually became redundant and abandoned. Traces remaining today are usually characteristic black stains on the basement walls that many homeowners still cherish and keep as a precious historical memory. Do you still keep any items from your grandparents' time? Please share your stories and don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue the journey back to lost memories. In-wall radios. The in-wall radio was once the most vibrant entertainment center and the heart of many homes during the turbulent 1940s. Instead of being a compact tabletop device like later models, radios back then were often crafted as an inseparable part of the interior architecture. They were deeply embedded in the wall or integrated into large wooden shelves right in the living room. For grandparents, this was the only means to connect with the world. The whole family would often gather after dinner to listen to important war news from the front lines. Their appearance was often very magnificent, featuring shiny glass faces and brass knobs, reflecting the glamorous aesthetic characteristic of the Golden Age. But then, the rapid development of electronic technology after the war made internal components increasingly compact, replacing these giant in-wall machines. Now, we usually listen to music through small, convenient smart speakers. It's hard to imagine the sense of formality and sacredness every time your grandfather reached out to turn the radio knob to listen to the familiar static coming from deep within the wall. Looking at the empty wall nook where the radio once sat, you will see a gap in the memory of those evenings when the whole family listened to expressive voices over the airwaves together. Built-in ironing boards. The built-in ironing board is one of the small details that most clearly reflects the tidy and practical living mindset of American families in the 1940s. Instead of having to bring out and then store a bulky ironing board, your grandparents only needed to open a small cabinet door hidden in the wall, pull lightly, and a full ironing board was ready to use. Everything was designed to save every inch of space, true to the spirit of the years when order and efficiency were placed above all else. In the context of World War II, when metal materials were restricted and families had to manage with what they had, the built-in ironing board became a smart solution rather than a luxury. They were usually placed near the kitchen or laundry area where the housewife could iron clothes as soon as they were dry, turning a daily task into a seamless process. Not as ostentatious as a Murphy bed or an in-wall radio, but it was that quiet usefulness that made the built-in ironing board an indispensable part of the 1940s home. Today, when clothes require less ironing and living spaces are increasingly spacious, these small cabinet doors are gradually disappearing from modern designs. Yet, for those who grew up during that period, opening the wall door and hearing the slight click of metal, still a familiar memory, recalling a time when being meticulous in every crease was considered a pride of the whole family. Smoking rooms. The smoking room was a space deeply imbued with the privilege and masculinity often seen in well-to-do homes of the 1940s. This was where gentlemen would retreat after a luxurious dinner to enjoy expensive cigars and discuss important political or business matters in a quiet atmosphere. The interior of this room was often covered with dark wood panels along with velvet or leather-upholstered chairs full of opulence, creating a cozy yet authoritative feeling. The main purpose of the smoking room was to prevent the heavy smell of tobacco smoke from clinging to common family areas and to keep the women's space fresh. It represented a lifestyle with rules and clear separation in family life at that time, where each member had private areas according to social norms. However, along with changes in health awareness and a shift toward a more open, connected family lifestyle, these isolated rooms have gradually been eliminated. Replacing them today are perhaps modern man caves full of electronic devices. Regardless, the classic charm of a smoking room remains an interesting piece in the historical picture of wealth. Cedar closets. Cedar-lined closets were considered a subtle luxury of the era, tucked behind ordinary doors, yet deeply appreciated by the families who owned them. These closets were more than simple storage spaces. They were safe, fragrant shelters for a household's most valued clothing. The gentle scent of cedarwood did more than please the senses. It naturally repelled moths and insects, while keeping garments dry and fresh. In a time when clothes were carefully made, worn for years, and often handed down, cedar's ability to absorb moisture and prevent mildew was invaluable. That is why cedar-lined closets were most commonly found in well-kept middle and upper-class homes, symbolizing a lifestyle that prized durability, care, and thoughtful living. As modern pest controls, chemical treatments, and central air conditioning became common in the decades that followed, these beautifully lined closets slowly disappeared from new homes. Today, they are rarely seen outside of preserved older houses. Yet for many Americans, the memory of opening a cedar closet, breathing in that clean, familiar scent, still brings back a feeling of comfort and security, a reminder of a time when homes were built not just for convenience, but to protect what mattered most. Wallpaper. Step into a 1960s living room, and the first thing to catch your eye isn't the TV, but the walls. Bold, vibrantly colored, and intricately patterned wallpaper covered everything. It's a world away from the monochromatic minimalist walls we're used to today. Sharp geometric shapes and brilliant floral patterns were the hallmarks of this era's interior design, reflecting the free-spirited, convention-breaking attitude of the 60s as people began to escape the constraints of the 50s to embrace a newer, more colorful age. Many families didn't hesitate to turn each room into a distinct work of art, meticulously selecting patterns to give each space a unique soul, from the living room to even the bathroom, much like how my father carefully applied miniature wallpaper to the dollhouse he built for me. And if you ever wanted to change your living space, it would be a painstaking task to peel away those thick layers of wallpaper. The use of wallpaper was not just a trend, but a way to evoke emotion, creating a living space full of energy and joy. Though long forgotten for a time, the recent resurgence of wallpaper with vintage patterns shows we are rediscovering the timeless beauty of these designs, and perhaps the boldness of the 60s still holds a powerful allure to this day. Latticework room dividers. In the ranch, or split-level homes of the 1960s, latticework room dividers became a flexible and aesthetic solution for separating living areas while maintaining an open feel, natural light, and airflow. These dividers, often made of wood, metal, or acrylic, with geometric or organic patterns, not only created a visual accent, but also offered a degree of privacy without sacrificing the connection between rooms. Instead of solid walls, latticework dividers allowed light to pass through, creating a more spacious feel while also serving as a unique decorative element that showcased the homeowner's refined taste. We could see them in large living rooms, separating the dining area from the seating area, or in open spaces to create virtual rooms without compromising the overall architecture. These dividers prove that spatial division doesn't have to mean solid walls, but can be light decorative elements that create an airy and expansive feel for the home. Large console televisions. At the heart of the living room stood a large, sturdy wooden cabinet with a TV screen in the middle. It was the center of power where the whole family would gather after a long day to watch entertainment programs and black and white movies. This console TV, with its integrated speakers and storage space for film reels or music records, was not merely a piece of furniture, but a symbol of luxury, convenience, and an indispensable part of daily life back then. Even if some families couldn't afford a brand new console TV and had to watch on an older set, the memories of those television programs remain vivid in their minds. The console TV was not just for displaying images, it was also a decorative piece, a place where family photos and small keepsakes were treasured as if it were an important member of the family, silently witnessing countless moments of togetherness and happiness. Wood paneling. For the more private spaces in the house, like the bedroom, there was often wood paneling. It was a prominent feature in the 1960s, bringing warmth, texture, and a touch of sophistication to the interior. Typically made from high-quality woods like walnut, oak, or mahogany, these panels not only created a sense of luxury and durability, but also provided a private, relaxing space, perfect for cold winter nights. The natural beauty of the wood, with its unique grains and warm, deep colors, turned the wall into a work of art, an architectural focal point that no other material could replace. You might remember the cozy feeling of leaning against those wood-paneled walls, reading a book, or chatting before bed. It's fascinating how this trend is being rediscovered by many modern homeowners, combining the timeless beauty of natural wood with contemporary materials, proving that traditional design values always hold a firm place in people's hearts, no matter how much time passes. The vintage kitchen. Stepping into a 1960s kitchen was like entering a world of vibrant colors, playful patterns, and a lively atmosphere, all inspired by classic American diners. These kitchens were characterized by black and white checkered or brightly colored floor tiles and shiny chrome accents on the appliances. Dominant colors like bright red, turquoise, and lemon yellow not only provided a cheerful look, but were also extremely practical, easy to clean and maintain, fitting the busy lifestyle of families. Kitchen appliances also shifted towards greater convenience with the introduction of affordable, labor-saving devices like dishwashers, electric stoves, and refrigerators with automatic ice makers. Kitchen cabinets were often made of glossy wood or laminate surfaces, while Formica countertops featured turquoise or red speckled patterns. The kitchen was not just a place for cooking, but the heart of the home, where people gathered, talked, and shared warm meals. I still remember mornings when my dad rushed through a quick breakfast at the counter, or afternoons preparing dinner with my mom, laughing and chatting away. It was a space that sparked creativity, joy, and connection, a place where even preparing a meal became a fun, colorful experience. Classic board games. Before digital screens dominated every living space, family game night was a popular pastime, often a weekly event that every member looked forward to. Classic games like Monopoly, Clue, Risk, or the Game of Life were always found in a closet or on a bookshelf, ready to provide hours of entertainment and bonding. In particular, the Game of Life, with its modern version released in 1960, quickly became a favorite, not just for its entertainment value, but because it simulated life's major milestones, from education and career to building a family, sparking interesting conversations about dreams and the future. These board games encouraged direct interaction, helping family members communicate, learn problem-solving skills, and overcome challenges together, creating joyful, warm moments that no electronic device can replace. I still remember the roaring laughter, the cute little arguments, and the lessons learned about fairness and teamwork with every game played. Chrome kitchenware. On the countertops of 60s homes, you would easily find kitchen gadgets finished in shiny chrome, like toasters, stand mixers, coffee percolators, or spice canister sets. The sparkling gleam of chrome not only brought a modern, clean look, but also symbolized progress and hygiene in the kitchen. These items, though just everyday objects, were exquisitely designed, becoming icons of modernity and convenience in household appliances of the time. Many people still remember their mother's gleaming toaster or their grandmother's powerful stand mixer, appliances that saw them through countless meals and baked goods, becoming an integral part of their warm childhood memories. They were not just objects, but witnesses to an era when design innovation turned simple tools into works of art, bringing joy and excitement to the homemaker. Although materials and design trends have changed, the shiny beauty of chrome still holds its own allure, reminiscent of a time when modernity was expressed in every small detail of the family kitchen. Built-in speaker. Right next to the console TV, or sometimes integrated into the same elegant wooden cabinet, you would find the built-in stereo system. Sliding open the cabinet would reveal countless LPs stacked and ready to play. For many, the experience of listening to vinyl on this system was not just about enjoying music, but a slow, immersive ritual, a stark contrast to the quick, convenient digital streaming services of today. I still clearly remember weekend afternoons when my whole family would gather around this record player, enjoying every melodious tune. Whenever my father placed the needle on the record, the characteristic crackle, followed by the warm, captivating melodies filling the room, brought an indescribable sense of relaxation. These record players were not just technology. They were part of the design philosophy of the time, where technology and furniture were not separate, but came together to create a harmonious, artistic, living space. In the living rooms of 1960s homes, next to a father's favorite armchair or on the coffee table and end tables, we would often see an item that has all but vanished today: standing ashtrays and glass ashtrays. A tall stand, usually made of metal or wood, with a large ceramic chrome or glass ashtray perched on top, was more than just a place for ashes. It was a widely accepted decorative object, reflecting the lifestyle and cultural context of an era when smoking was still considered a normal and even fashionable social behavior. Many older adults still keep their green or amber glass ashtray sets as mementos, even if they don't smoke themselves, because they evoke a bygone era of lively conversations with friends and family gatherings. We can see them in old family photos, an integral part of the living space, a testament to the shift in societal views on health and lifestyle over the past decades. Of all the 1960s furniture, which piece do you remember most? Stick around to the end to see if it makes today's list. One of the most unique and rather weird architectural features in a 1960s living room was the conversation pit. It was a sunken space, lower than the rest of the floor, specifically designed to invite people to gather closer together. This area typically featured long benches lined with plush, comfortable cushions with a coffee table or a cozy fireplace in the center, creating an incredibly warm and intimate atmosphere. The conversation pit encouraged relaxed lounging. Children napped on the cushions while adults leaned in for hours-long heart-to-heart talks in that private, warm space. Although it fell out of favor for a time due to safety concerns for young children and the elderly who had to navigate steps into a space without railings, this trend is now making a comeback in modern home designs, built into ranch-style houses or contemporary suburban retreats. The wooden magazine rack. In the 1960s, a wooden magazine rack was a simple yet indispensable item in many households. It was a neat storage solution for popular print publications like Life, Woman's Day, or Boy's Life, magazines that brought knowledge, entertainment, and adventure stories to all ages. The elegant design of these racks kept magazines upright, easy to access and display, reflecting the reading habits and print media consumption of families at the time. For many boys, Boy's Life magazine was like a close companion, filled with thrilling adventure stories, articles on outdoor activities, DIY projects, and useful scouting tips that sparked curiosity and a spirit of exploration. Stylish bar cart. Cocktail culture thrived in the 1960s, making compact built-in bars an essential feature in many homes, especially those that frequently hosted guests. These bars were often exquisitely designed, fully stocked with various liquors, sparkling glassware, and cocktail recipe books, making entertaining quick and convenient. The presence of these bars in the living room or entertainment area reflected a liberal, modern, and convenience-loving lifestyle of the American family at the time, a style we can see in classic films or at glamorous parties. While home bars still exist today, they have taken on a different form, no longer holding the nostalgic classic charm of the 60s built-in bars, where every bottle, every glass had its own story, a mark of its time. Tiki interior style. The fascination with Polynesian culture in the 1960s led to many homes being decorated in the tiki style. A corner of the house might be dedicated to recreating a tropical atmosphere with rustic bamboo furniture, colorful tiki mugs featuring faces or deities, and decorative accessories that breathe the essence of faraway islands. This style was inspired by a South Pacific imagery that brought a vacation vibe home. Tiki-themed parties with Hawaiian music and exotic cocktails became a unique and quirky cultural feature to the modern eye. Many older adults still remember the tiki decorations their families once owned, items that evoke dreams of distant travels at a time when the world seemed much larger and more mysterious. Stone walls. The living spaces of the 1960s were also defined by another bold architectural feature, the interior stone wall. A commanding interior stone wall captured all attention, skillfully bringing the raw, majestic beauty of nature directly into the living space. These walls, often made from river rock, rough-hewn slate, or other natural stones, appeared in living rooms, entryways, or surrounding the fireplace, creating a distinct depth and character for the room. Such a stone wall could make a space feel warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer, creating a perfect balance between natural beauty and functionality. While the use of natural stone for interior walls still exists today, it is often designed in a different style, less rustic and raw than the stone walls of the 60s, when each stone carried a story of the earth, creating a one-of-a-kind work of art in every home. If these features bring back memories, hit like and subscribe to join us on more nostalgic journeys. Mid-century modern furniture and colorful upholstery. The mid-century modern furniture style is one of the indelible architectural marks of the 1960s. Living rooms were furnished with minimalist and elegant pieces. Eames chairs with their soft curves, Danish teak credenzas, or unique kidney bean-shaped coffee tables were all familiar items, bringing a light, airy, and stylish feel to the room. But you'd be surprised to see sofas and armchairs upholstered in vibrant fabrics, from fiery burnt orange and fresh avocado green to radiant lemon yellow. All were accented by natural wood frames, creating a captivating, harmonious contrast. This furniture not only brought life and personality to the space, but also created a sensory experience full of energy and joy. Although today's living rooms have shifted towards neutral tones, these upholstery fabrics still feel fresh and youthful to anyone who steps inside. A rotary phone, and your kitchen would be the picture of perfection with a rotary phone. This was an essential item, often placed prominently on the kitchen wall because mothers spent much of their day there cooking and caring for the family. These phones came in a variety of colors, from avocado green and soft pink to bright yellow, often chosen to match the color scheme of the wall tiles or Formica countertops, creating a delightful harmony in the space. The characteristic click-clack sound of the rotary dial was a familiar, comforting sound. Interestingly, back then, some would deliberately stretch the phone cord out for what seemed like a mile just to get a bit of privacy while talking to friends. Though the rotary phone has given way to more modern devices, memories of it remain intact, an essential part of the tapestry of family life in the 60s, a symbol of connection and communication without a screen. Melamine dishes. At every daily meal in the 1960s households, melamine dishes were the top choice because they were durable and colorful, not easily broken like traditional ceramic dinnerware. With a variety of patterns, from delicate floral designs to rustic country scenes, these dishes not only livened up the meal, but also offered maximum convenience. They were lightweight, easy to wash, and extremely durable, ideal for busy families with young children, helping homemakers save time and effort. Thanks to melamine, the worry of broken dishes during large meals or when kids were running around was no longer a major concern. Moreover, these dishes contributed to a cheerful, relaxed atmosphere at every meal, turning them into moments of connection where everyone enjoyed delicious food and shared stories in a colorful, warm space. Tupperware containers. During this era, Tupperware was not just a brand, but a revolution in food storage for American families. With its signature colored airtight containers in shades like burnt orange, avocado green, or mustard yellow, Tupperware helped keep food fresh longer, reduced waste, and brought convenience to homemakers. These containers were not just for leftovers. They were also used to pack lunches for work and school, or to store cookies, candies, and dry goods, keeping the kitchen organized and food fresh. Many older adults still recall the lively Tupperware parties where housewives would gather to discover new products and share useful tips for managing their homes. It was not just a sales event, but an opportunity for women to connect, socialize, and learn from one another, creating a small but meaningful community. The fondue set. If one kitchen item had to be chosen to best represent the festive spirit and sophistication of the 1960s, it would surely be the fondue set. In the latter part of the decade, no party was considered proper without a small ceramic or metal fondue pot set over a warmer to keep cheese or chocolate perfectly melted and smooth. It came with long forks with brightly colored handles, one for each person to dip bread, fruit, or meat into the hot fondue pot. But fondue was more than just a dish. It was a social experience. It encouraged sharing, brought people closer, and created unforgettable moments of connection. We remember scenes of friends and family gathered around by candlelight, the aroma of rich cheese or sweet chocolate filling the room, and the sound of cheerful laughter. Those evenings left memories as sweet as a piece of bread or a strawberry just dipped in the fondue pot. Simple, yet full of warmth. Which feature on today's list surprised you the most? Don't hesitate to share your thoughts in the comments section. Wall clocks. An interesting detail often seen in 1960s kitchens is the wall clock, an object that is both decorative and an essential tool for every family. From simple, traditional analog clocks to sophisticated Art Deco designs or mid-century modern designs, all contribute to creating a unique atmosphere for the kitchen. The clock's hands sweep the hour each minute, not only marking cooking time, but also becoming a familiar part of the family's daily life. Fold-out ironing boards. Often installed near a laundry nook or kitchen corner, the fold-out ironing board became a clever, space-saving feature built directly into the wall. This device could be easily unfolded when needed and discreetly folded away when not in use, helping to keep the house tidy and organized. What's special is that many of these ironing boards also included a built-in compartment for the iron and other essential laundry items, making a tedious chore much more efficient and convenient. It is a living testament to the practical design thinking of the 60s, where every square foot was maximized for living. While today, we often use bulky standing or steam irons, this compact fold-out ironing board, though forgotten, deserves a revival, especially as compact and multifunctional living spaces become more common. Because its convenience and elegance still hold their value, reminding us of a time when simplicity and clever design were the keys to creating a comfortable and convenient home. The children's bedroom. A child's bedroom in a 1960s home was a miniature world of color and memories, where every toy and every little corner told a story of childhood. In that space, a small twin bed was often the centerpiece, spacious enough for kids to rest comfortably and dream beautiful dreams. Surrounding the bed was a treasure trove of classic toys from the era, from original Barbie dolls with their glamorous outfits, the Kenner Easy Bake Oven for budding young chefs, mighty G.I. Joe figures for imaginary adventures, early Matchbox cars to construction sets like Lincoln Logs or Erector sets that encouraged creativity and logical thinking. Back then, children played outside all day and only came home for meals. Then, after hours of joyful play, they would return to their bedrooms. It would be normal to find baseball bats and gloves leaning against the bed, as baseball and football were still the most popular sports of the 1960s. These toys not only brought joy, but also nurtured imagination, helping to shape the childhoods of countless generations, and to this day, many people still keep these keepsakes as priceless treasures. Colored bathrooms. Bathrooms of the 1960s trended towards pastel color schemes like powder pink, light blue, and mint green for toilets, sinks, and bathtubs. These gentle hues were often skillfully paired with matching ceramic tiles, creating a harmonious, charming, and highly artistic look. Pink was especially popular, partly thanks to the influence of First Lady Mamie Eisenhower, turning it into a symbol of femininity, elegance, and the gentle beauty of the American woman. Whenever one stepped into such a bathroom, they felt not only cleanliness and comfort, but also a light, romantic atmosphere, as if entering a fairy tale world. Although bathrooms today are often designed with white, gray, or neutral tones to create a modern and spacious feel, the pastel bathrooms of the 60s remain vivid in many people's memories, an unforgettable mark of an era when color reigned and brightened every space in the home. Linoleum flooring. And when you look down at the floors of those colorful bathrooms, you would see patterned linoleum. Linoleum was a favored material of the 1960s, bringing bold designs and cheerful colors to kitchens, bathrooms, and entryways. From classic checkerboard patterns to atomic-era swirls or vibrant floral motifs, every square foot of flooring was a lively, character-filled canvas. They were popular for their durability, ease of maintenance, and affordability, withstanding the wear and tear of a busy family life. The rumpus room. If you've ever wondered about that informal room in old houses, often in the basement or a secondary area, it was likely the rumpus room. True to its name, rumpus, a noisy disturbance, this was not a formal living room, but a relaxed, free space for kids to play, adults to host parties, or the whole family to gather and watch TV, much like the later concept of the family room. In the rumpus room, there were no strict rules, but rather a sense of freedom and fun. It was where children's laughter echoed, endless adult conversations took place, and movie nights and music sessions lasted late into the night. This room was not just a physical space, but a symbol of relaxation, entertainment, and family bonding, a place where everyone could be themselves, comfortably enjoying moments together without worrying about formality or etiquette. For many who grew up in houses with a rumpus room, it holds countless childhood memories, a place where they learned to share, play, and form lasting bonds memories that remain warm in their hearts to this day. The laundry chute. In 1960s homes, the laundry chute was often hidden in the most familiar places. Sometimes it was a small door in an upstairs hallway, right next to the bedrooms, where kids would eagerly drop shirts down as a game. Sometimes it was in the bathroom. Just open a small bread box-sized hatch in the wall and drop in dirty clothes, and gravity would do the rest. The clothes vanished from sight and seconds later landed right next to the washing machine in the basement. No batteries, no motor, just a sturdy hinge and clever design. For a small child, it was like a secret portal to an adventure. For an adult, it was the quiet satisfaction of one daily chore made a little shorter. But over time, laundry chutes began to disappear. Contractors started to worry about ventilation, safety, and outdated floor plans. When compact washing machines appeared in upstairs closets, this vertical shortcut was no longer needed. Most chutes were sealed up, plastered over, or hidden behind new shelves. Yet, in many old homes, the hinges still lie dormant, waiting for the day someone accidentally opens them, drops a towel through, not out of necessity, but to enjoy a moment of satisfaction with the simple genius of the old ways. 1960s homes are like living museums, preserving the colors, styles, and even the habits of a highly creative era. From sunken living rooms and vibrant wallpapers to iconic pastel tubs, they have all become unforgettable marks in the memories of many generations. Though most have vanished, they remind us that a home is always a reflection of life and culture. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help us preserve old memories. The home details from the 1940s you just saw are not just designs, but an entire way of life that has gradually disappeared over time. If this video made you nod in familiarity or smile at old memories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss new content. And don't leave just yet. The next video, 25 Weirdest Home Features No Longer Used, will reveal even stranger details, including designs once considered too dangerous to exist in modern homes. There are things you'll see for the first time and have to ask yourself, how did people dare to use that back then?